It's Matt Sinkering here. I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel, get back on this. I've been off it for many years, and I feel like I have a lot of experience and knowledge to contribute. I'm a two-time Canadian national bodybuilding and classic physique champion. I've worked for a supplement company, Mutant, for many years. I managed a lot of pro bodybuilder athletes, Johnny Jackson, Rich Piana back in the day. He wasn't a pro, but I did manage Rich Piana, Ronaldo Gary, Manuel Romero, Dusty Hanshaw, to name a few. So I've worked closely with these athletes. I've met all the Mr. Olympia champions. I've talked to them personally. So I know these guys. I've seen them up close. And so I'm just going to give you my 2 cents of who I think the top six is going to be for this year's 2020 Mr. Olympia. And so I have Brandon winning this year's Mr. Olympia. And let's just go through his prejudging from last year, 2019. Uh, I think he looked great. He was big and full. He was conditioned. Great aesthetics, tiny waist. Great arm development, chest development, delt development, back. And he just had that fullness and thickness that Phil Heath brought to the table when he was competing back in 2018. So one thing that a lot of people criticized Brandon for was his conditioning. To me, he just has a slight film of water that he's holding here, especially on his backside. So if he can improve on that, yeah, I think it's a easy win for Brandon again here in 2020. Some people criticize his leg development, but I think he has good legs. It's just a matter of bringing in his condition to show the deep cuts and separation that he does have in his quads. And just look at him here, big, round, and full. He looks somewhat similar to Phil Heath in these shots, right? And Phil Heath is a seven-time reigning Mr. Olympia champion. So I think Brandon will be able to improve on his condition. He knows how to dial it in now, and we can see him taking back first place again here, becoming a two-time Mr. Olympia champion in 2020. All right, so we got Phil Heath here. I have Phil Heath coming in second place. Now, I know a lot of you guys will probably disagree with that. The reason why I'm putting Phil in second place is because he's had 2 years away from the stage. And it is not easy taking 2 years off and not training balls to the wall every day like a Olympia champion who's coming back the next year would. And you lose muscle density when you don't hammer the weights year in, year out. And Phil took a long break. He had some surgeries, and to bounce back, in like 16 weeks of prep for a show, maybe even less. I just don't think he's gonna be the same Phil Heath we're used to seeing, bringing home that Olympia title. And his last show, this is a 2018 prejudging, so this is his most recent look that we have to compare it to, and he was not as full as he has been in previous years. He was a little flat. Um, his midsection was a little bit protruded. So I just think those factors added up will push him down into a second place um, finish at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. And this, like right here, look at the midsection, right? I don't know how much of that is going to be improved, right? And even these shots here, like Brandon Curry has a great front double bicep. He's got a great chest, delts. He's got a great side chest too. And I just think that Brandon Curry having a fresher looking physique, just as big, if not may look bigger than Phil Heath on that stage, that Phil Heath is just not going to have enough to take out the reigning champ, Brandon Curry. All right, next up we got William Bonac. I have William coming in third place at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. To me, this guy's just a mini Kai Green, complete, full, top to bottom. Always comes in good condition. Here, this is the 2019 prejudgings from the Mr. Olympia that we're having a look at here. And here he's actually a little flat in the prejudging. That seems to be a lot of these pro bodybuilders' Achilles heel is that they come in a little flat prejudging and then they fill up during the evening's final show. But from the back, William is a beast. Again, you would think this is Kai Green right here, right? Shredded striations in the back, Christmas tree. Um, he's a good poser. He knows how to show off his physique properly. And I just think that he's got enough. You know what? He could knock off Phil Heath and come in second place. But if Phil comes in good condition, uh, Phil just has too much muscle mass and roundness over William. So I don't think I see Phil sliding in the third. Unless Phil is off, then Williams is going to pounce on him and come into that second place finish. But Williams is a great athlete. He still has a bright future ahead of him. You never know. He could take that first place spot in the Miss Olympia if he just continues to improve slightly on his physique. Make sure he comes in spot on for prejudging and shows what he's truly made of. And this right, awesome shot here, most muscular. Really big fan of William Bonac, and I have him coming in third place at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. All right, guys. So I have Big Ramy coming in fourth place at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. Uh, I think Ramy's had a rough year, I guess. He came up down with COVID-19. He missed the show. He's probably stressed out. So I just don't think he's going to be 100% on his game. But because he has such size and mass and probably will come in decent condition, I see him coming in solid fourth place. And that's the thing with Ramy. He's so big, it's hard to refine that physique and dial it in on the day of the show. And that's been his problem, is nailing his condition. He's huge, and it's not about size for Ramy, right? He's 285 on stage. That's, Ronnie Coleman was 285 on stage, 290. But Ronnie Coleman knew how to dial his physique in. And Ramy still just hasn't figured that out. And he's been doing this for, 7 years now, coming to the Miss Olympia, and he still hasn't won. So, maybe he will win one day if he just dials it and just comes in super shredded and full round and just hits it. But he still hasn't been able to show us that, and he's not consistent with the looks that he brings to the stage. But if he comes on point, he can win the Miss Olympia. We all know that. But he hasn't been able to show that to us. So my prediction is Ramy will come in fourth place. But there's a caveat to that, and I'm going to go into that on the next clip. All right, up next here we have Hadi Choopan. So, as I said previously, the caveat to Big Ramy getting fourth place would be this man showing up to the show. Now, he's waiting to get his visa approved. So if he does end up making it to the Olympia this year, I have Hadi Choopan fourth place to 2020 Mr. Olympia, pushing Big Ramy down to fifth place. So it's kind of messing up my prediction because we don't know if he's going to make it, but I want to be as accurate as possible with my prediction. So I have Hadi coming in at fourth place if he makes it. Why? Because he is stacked from top to bottom. He's got great back development, hamstrings, glutes, biceps, delts, chest. Everything is there on Hadi. And he always comes in shredded and hard. Like you can see here, he's complete bodybuilder and no real weak points. His waist is a little on the thicker side when he does his front relaxed pose. But again, an amazing athlete, big fan of Hadi, and I have him coming in fourth place if he makes it to the 2020 Mr. Olympia. He's just going to outcondition Big Ramy, and he's complete. He's a beast, and I have him coming in fourth place. All right, next up here I have Rolly Winkler coming in fifth place for the 2020 Mr. Olympia. This is a 2019 video of prejudgings from the Olympia. Rolly has a great physique. He's a freak. He's got best arms in bodybuilding, in my opinion. Um, his his issue that he has is his quads, right? He has a problem getting upper separation in his quads, and you can see here he's a little flat. He's holding some water. His tan is too dark, um, which is a big pet peeve of mine as well. But overall, the guy is a beast. He has the tools in the shed to leapfrog up to that third, second place spot. I just don't see um, Rolly ever winning a Mr. Olympia. He's just a little blocky in the waist, and his aesthetics aren't like a Brandon Curry or a Sean Roden, type physique. He's just more of a freak show up there, right? Which can get you in top five, no problem, in the Mr. Olympia. But if he can nail it, bring in his condition, bring in that separation in the quads, get his tan right, I see him in the top five this year, the 2020 Mr. Olympia. But and he could move up further than that. He's got to be dead on, dry, shredded, hard, and get, like, even here you can see is just he can't get that upper quad separation to come out. So it makes his quads actually look a little narrow. So I got Rolly Winkler coming in fifth place at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. Great. All right. And I'm a big fan of this guy, Dexter the Blade Jackson, doing his signature slow walk up to the middle of the stage. I got Dexter coming in sixth place at the 2020 Mr. Olympia. This is from last year's prejudging 2019. You know what? This is his last Mr. Olympia, and I feel like, you know what, he's gonna come in maybe in the best condition we've seen yet. Because I mean, he's got to go all out. This is his last show, and I feel like he's gonna bring it. I think his legs will be full. Um, he knows he can't come in flat in prejudging. Here he's prejudging 2019. He's flat, right? He looks a little maybe over dieted, um, but not the usual Dexter we're used to seeing. But still, the symmetry and the shape and the lines that Dexter Jackson brings to the stage, that's why he always comes in that top five, top six position in the Olympia, because he's got that shape that judges love, right? And his condition here isn't as good as it usually is in years past, but I think, like I said, Dexter's going to bring it to this last show. He wants to come in that top six. He really wants to come in the top five, but I just think you got Phil here now. You got Bonac. He's fresher. He's got a more fresher physique. You got Rolly Winkler, who is huge and full and big, and if he comes in condition, it just overwhelms Dexter. You got Big Ramy, right, and obviously you got Brandon Curry. So it's just like, if Dexter rolls up 2020 Mr. Olympia with a top six finish against these young athletes that are in their prime, and he's still coming in home taking the sixth place finish, there's nothing to complain about that, and that would be an achievement in itself, being the age that Dexter is. And I'm excited to see him on stage. I'm a big fan, and I keep looking forward to seeing what he's got to bring. This is my YouTube channel, and like I said at the start of the video, I'm just bouncing back on here, gonna give my opinion. I have experience in bodybuilding. Like I said, I'm a two-time Canadian national bodybuilding champion. If I were in the US, and when you win nationals, you get your pro card, but in Canada, you don't. You gotta win the overall in Canada to get your pro card, so it's a lot harder. So by US tradition, I would have been a pro two times over already. So just saying, I have experience. I'm not just some guy on YouTube who has never competed that's given their top six prediction on the Olympia and that type of shit. I'm just, I actually have on stage experience, and I've worked with many, many pros throughout the years. So If you like what you watched, and I would just appreciate a thumbs up or subscribe. And I'll have some more content coming out, and we'll see what we can do here. I'm going to do a classic physique top 6 prediction as well. So I will see you guys later.